Today I'm giving my home setup a makeover, which seems highly redundant, seeing as how just weeks ago, Linus crashed my pad and did just that. And that's not to say he and his team didn't do a great job. They gave my setup a fresh look and a new file server, two things I desperately needed after my house burned down in January. But as they say, a setup is never done. And right after Linus left, I took out my earplugs and realized there were a few things I could do to elevate the space even more in both form and function. So this is my makeover of Linus's makeover of my setup.
In a universe plagued by low FPS, high temps, and whatever's going on here, Starforge Systems has come to save us all. Forged on the taint of a dying star, Starforge PCs aren't just computers, they're really fast computers. With a legendary lineup spanning every need and budget, there is no gamer too green nor veteran too elite for the Starforge arsenal. Horizon PCs are crafted for everyday gamers and first-time adventurers. Experience fast and affordable without having to choose between playing hard and praying card doesn't get declined again. Navigator PCs are built with next-gen components, designed to launch your gaming experience into space for longer than 10 minutes, just saying. And Voyager PCs offer the highest-end hardware known to mankind, delivering frame rates so smooth they could butter a whale. And for the refined warriors who whisper, "I shall game, but with taste," the Explorer PCs feature zero RGB and maximum elegance. So if you're ready to conquer galaxies, snag the greatest PC in the universe with Starforge Systems. Click the link in the description for more info on their full lineup and prepare to ascend.
Okay, maybe me calling this a makeover is a bit gratuitous. I mean, what Linus and his crew did was truly a makeover. They came in, brought a bunch of furniture and lighting, rearranged the space, and truly transformed the setup. What I'm doing today is really optimizing what's already here using a ton of stuff that I bought on Amazon. These are all simple items, storage bins, decor, and that sort of thing, but I don't want to minimize how much of an impact I think that'll make on the setup. The first thing I really want to tackle is the server that Linus built for me and installed for me, and this is sort of how this whole project between him and I came about, right? Is that he caught wind that I had lost a bunch of personal digital files in the house fire, and so he put this together for me so that I wouldn't have a similar loss in the future, which I'm very grateful for, and this thing has been working out very well for me. But the positioning and where it's mounted has been kind of an issue. The server is mounted a little bit too far to the left, and initially I had zero problems with this. I'll just scoot my chair over a little bit when I work, but as time went on and over the last couple weeks, I have knocked my knee into the corner of this server bracket so many times that it's actually left marks on my knee, and it's painful, and I'm ready for it to stop. So I actually picked up this PC mount that goes under the desk so we can keep the server underneath the desk, except this should allow us to rotate the server vertically so that we can actually put it maybe closer to the leg and it will be completely out of the way and my leg will be in far less pain. That'll also actually give me easier access to the rear I/O of the server, because right now it's kind of pushed right up against the cable management bar and those ports are actually very hard to access. Not that I need to access them often anyway, but it definitely doesn't hurt to give them a bit more breathing room for when I do. Before I unmount the server though, I do want to make sure that this mount fits underneath the desk, because it's a completely different shape and size as this mount, and there's a lot of stuff going on under here. The desk frame takes up a lot of space. I've got a lot of wires and other things for my card readers and USB hubs and stuff like that. So let's do a quick fit check. Let's see if it fits. If it's on the very end, it will not fit. It doesn't even reach because this rail's in the way. So that's not gonna work. But I think if we remove the mounting bracket that's already here, that gives us plenty of room for the new one. Looks like there's just 4 screws here at the front. Oh shit, you know what? I totally forgot. I'm an idiot. I forgot to unpower it or unplug it. There we go. All right, I think. Easy peasy. And you know, it's kind of a shame because I really like this bracket. It's great quality. And I love the way that the server looks in this orientation. Horizontally up against the bottom of the desk, it looks so good. It almost looks like a factory integration. It just blends in so well. Maybe in the future, if I can, you know, if I move into a bigger place that can afford a larger desk, then maybe this would be the perfect solution for that. So I'm definitely gonna keep this bracket on hand. But for now, you gotta go, son. Oh, ow. Come here. There we go. So since I'm gonna install the bracket right here, these cables are in the way. Like these two for the card reader and USB hub are pretty easy to move out of the way, but the power button is actually gonna be interfered with once the bracket's in place. So I actually have to relocate this to the other side, and I just turned my computer off. That's awesome. Don't do that. All right, we have a bit of a problem, but I think I have a fix for it. So I just installed the new PC mount under the desk. That's all fine and dandy, but when I went to test fit the server, it wasn't sitting flat, completely flush on the top here. It was actually at an angle, and I was like, what's in the way? It's actually this housing for the motor of one of the desk legs that's a little bit lower. It's like a 1/4 inch lower than the desk mount, the PC mount. So that's why it's like sitting like this. So what I did was I took a piece of a furniture pad, I cut it to size, and I put some adhesive on one side of it. So that's gonna give us a little bit of Z height. So the server will sit a hair lower than this part of the desk, and hopefully it'll clear it and we'll have no issues, but we'll see. Now before I lock this down, I want to swap out the memory because right now we just have some gamer G-Skill memory in here, which is fine, but it's not really optimal for a server setup like this. The reason for that is that Linus and his team brought incompatible RAM when they came over, and that's not really their fault. Personally, I blame the ASRock motherboard because it's a workstation board with a workstation chipset, so you would think that it supports RDIMMs, registered memory. Registered memory puts less of an electrical load on the memory controller, allowing you to put more modules or more DIMMs in a system, which makes it great for servers. But this workstation board only supports ECC UDIMMs, which is just weird. But all's well that ends well, because LMG sent me 64 gigs of ECC UDIMM memory that should fit in the motherboard just fine. All right. How you like that, boy? Not too shabby, huh? Not too shabby. You know that PC mount cost $35, but being able to do this, priceless. I'm adding a couple more tech items to the mix before we switch gears. The mouse situation. My mouse situation is a little rough. I've got a Logitech G305, which serves me just fine. It's a great mouse. I've had it for ages, but this wasn't actually my primary mouse. For the last several months, I've been using a Logitech Pro X Superlight 2, and that's been a great mouse. It was white and it matched the setup beautifully. It's a good looking mouse. It performs great, but it just wasn't for me. The battery life, you know, because it's a Superlight, it just has an internal lithium-ion battery, so it died pretty quickly. I had to recharge it, get out the cable, and I like keeping my setup as clean as possible, so I don't like having to even take out a charging cable, and I don't really care about super lightweight. It's not a huge plus for me. It's nice, but I don't really need it. But I really loved the shape of the mouse, and I love the quality of the mouse, which the G305, you know, this is more of a budget device. It's 30 bucks, I think, 35 bucks. So I scaled up somewhere in between the G305 and the Pro X Superlight 2 with the G309. This came out last year, I think, and I've never even laid a hand on this mouse, so let's check it out really quick. This was like 60 or 70 bucks. Battery life is supposed to be fantastic with the AA battery. You get 300 hours of advertised battery life, which is really nice. Of course, you can go lighter than that if you have the PowerPlay mat, which will charge the internal lithium-ion battery here so that you get pretty much infinite battery life, but you also have to buy the PowerPlay mat, which is probably like over 100 bucks. It is very light. It is light if you're just using the PowerPlay. You got Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, so guessing there is a receiver in here somewhere. Ah, okay, there's the battery slot. Let me get a battery for this guy. I'm literally out of AA batteries. I just ran out, so I gotta steal one from this Xbox controller. Oh, it comes with one, and it's a Duracell. It's not a cheapie. All right, I'm gonna plug this receiver in, change sensitivity. Oh yeah, that track's lovely. That track's very nice. Yeah, the clicks are nice too, compared to the G305 versus G305, you nasty. Yeah, this is nice. And it matches, dare I say, it matches the setup mighty nice. Oh yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Next up, a remote control monitor light bar, RGB. I had a light bar at my old setup, rest in peace, and I didn't have it for very long. I had it for maybe a few months before everything went to shit, and I really enjoyed it. It was the first monitor light bar I had ever had, and I thought, this is dumb, this is stupid, it's gimmicky. No one needs a light bar as a useless accessory. Boy, was I wrong. It provides nice lighting when you need it. Like, it's basically a desk lamp without taking up precious desk space. And again, I like keeping the surface of my desk clean as possible, and it really helps with that while being super functional. I totally swear by them now, but I didn't have an RGB one. Look, oh, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. There's our cheapy batteries right there. Better than nothing. All right, let's get this set up. Okay, light bar is installed and lights are dimmed for maximum effect. Here we go. Oh, okay, so we got blue on the back. So there's a light, obviously the main light right here, and we've got another light on the back that actually projects onto the wall to give you some of that ambiance, baba. Looks really good. This is at max brightness at the moment. If you tap it plus once, then it goes up like 3 or 4 levels at a time. But if you want to do it more granular, you hold it down, then it goes 1 at a time. Got color temp as well. Let me turn the RGB off, actually. So that's maximum warm. And max cool. By the way, the company that makes this light bar is Cuntus. And since I like this product, I'll be the first to say, Cunt is good. It's a new day! Let's talk about storage. This is probably my favorite thing that Linus and his team did for this setup, was they replaced my old garage shelving unit that was just an eyesore and was holding all of my tech gear and film equipment with these 2 beautiful shelves that actually belong in a living room setting. And they put it on either side of the desk, relocating the desk to the center of the wall, which I think looks great. It almost feels like a command station, especially with those Govee lights on either side. It looks really badass. And of course, I relocated all of my tech gear onto these shelves. But 2 things I've learned since doing that, and after just living with it for a while, is that for one, I don't need quick and easy access to everything here. There are some things that I still do need quick access to, like cameras and batteries and things like that. But for the most part, a lot of this can go in more permanent storage, which is a lot easier now because I recently got a storage pod after fully moving out of my office. The other thing I learned is that tech hardware doesn't exactly complement the vibe of this setup. I've seen it done really well in the past where like someone's got, you know, a CPU cooler and stuff like that on their shelves and it really matches what they're doing, but here, not so much. So I think in order to clean up the overall look of these shelves and the overall space, while still maintaining easy access to the things I do need on hand, I am resorting to using some of these bins, these storage bins that I got on Amazon. Now, they're not super expensive or anything, but they're definitely not as cheap as like, you know, one of those plastic bins you can get at Walmart, which are fantastic in their own right. But these are a bit more fashionable, homey. They're really homey, and I think they actually match the overall look of the setup so far. And I'm gonna complement that with some nice decor items, for example, this stunning candle. So let's do it. Oh baby, baby, baby. When form meets function, love to see it. Oh yes. Got all my tech in these bins. You wouldn't even know there's a bunch of metal in there. And I think it looks good. I don't think it looks bad. I think it definitely looks better than what was here before. So I'll take it. I'll leave it like this for now. I do have a couple plants up here on the top shelves, which actually add a lot to the space. I always knew that plants would look good here, but they're plants that I just pulled from elsewhere in the living room because I don't introduce any new plants into this place due to the cats. The plants are very hit or miss. Like if I bring a new plant in, like this plant, for example, they've never touched. So that's 100% cat proof. This one, however, is quasi cat proof because they started nibbling on all these leaves. You can see they're just completely chewed up, but then they eventually grew tired of it and left it alone. So that's quasi cat approved. And then there's like plants like the one in the bathroom that they're completely off limits to, that the boy, if he makes a breach, he will lunge for it, scarf down as much of it as he can, and then he will proceed to seconds later throw up on the rug. And it's like, it never fails. For that reason, no new plants. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep these plants here or move them back to their original location. They might be just be placeholders for now, but they look so good here too, so I'm not sure yet. But speaking of plants, I did buy this hanging pot. I think it would look pretty cool hanging from right here, just above the PC. Hang it right down there, right? You see it? You see the vision? Obviously, I can't put a plant in it, but I did purchase something to go in here that is a plant substitute, and that's arriving tomorrow, so that should be interesting. It's either gonna look really good and fit perfectly, or it gonna look dumb as hell. I have a hook. I have a hook with the molly bolts that I'm gonna install into the ceiling so I can hang, you know, drop that pot, and then we will proceed from there. All right, I've devised a really dumb way to keep the debris to a minimum. I've got basically this masking tape and aluminum foil cup, more or less. I'm gonna drill right through it. And then I'm going to use this as a catch for all of the debris. Oh, not bad at all. That actually worked out better than I thought. In you go. Come here, my little precious. It's time for a hanging. Easy there. I think it looks good. So this last thing I'm doing, I'm gonna catch a bit of flack for this from the LMG crew, because when we were planning this out, I was planning with Adam, I told him to try and avoid drilling holes in the walls if possible. And I meant that because I don't own this place, I'm renting. Maybe I was being a bit paranoid, but I've seen LTT videos. I've seen like you guys go full send when given permission, which I respect. You know, so I guess part of me was just fearful that if I opened that door and said, yeah, it should be okay, that, you know, Linus would show up on film day with like 2 tons of wall panels and, you know, ready to drill 80,000 holes in these walls, and I would be caught in this uncomfortable position. And I could have, I'm sorry, because I really could have just communicated all that better. And because of that, this next piece that's gonna really cap off this entire setup is dedicated to you, Adam, because you actually gave me this idea, which was to install a wall shelf. We're gonna install a wall shelf right above the monitors. I think it's really gonna tie everything together. I think it is really the last piece of the puzzle to making this setup feel complete. And I've already got like some artwork and some posters of the cats over there, so I kind of wanted to switch it up. A shelf is one thing that I don't have anywhere in the space yet. I got this one on Amazon. It's 40 inches long, and I just realized right before shooting this that it is too short. It really only spans the width of both of the monitors, and it doesn't look good. I think whatever shelf I get has to overhang the monitors on either side by a few inches. I did order the 55-inch version of the same shelf, but it gets here on Monday, which is like 2 or 3 days from now. So I have a hard production halt right now. There's nothing more I can do at the moment, but for you, this should only take about a millisecond. Haha, oh, wow, that was fast. Got the 55-incher. Floating wall shelf installed! It does look like I'm barely clearing the monitors. If I were to raise the desk up to be in standing position, then I would have to move this left monitor forward, maybe just an inch or so. But everything else looks pretty good here. If I raise it just enough to, right about there, this is my standing height right here. That is perfection. That's awesome. All right, I've got a few more decor items I'm gonna add to the shelf, and then the last thing. The moment you've all been waiting for, the plant substitute that I bought to go inside of the hanging planter, is finally here. Drum roll, please. Kind of looks like a plant, right? Okay, it's possible my imagination oversold it. You know, I think just for the sake of B-roll for the rest of the video, we're gonna use a plant instead. Here, you can make some friends on the plushy cat tree. That is it. We've reached the end of the video. Let me know if you like the setup as much as I do, because it looks freaking fantastic. It looks so good. Thanks again to Linus and friends for helping me get it to this point. And thank you for watching this video. Tell us a like, get subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next video.